Yvaelle here. I'm just going to run you through a bit of the Guild Wars 2 beta. So the class I've chosen is a Mesmer. She's a bit of an illusionist, a bit of a shadow priest. She has a lot of different apparitions, illusions she can spawn, phantoms. What you're seeing right now is this is actually the first time I die in the game. I'm level 5 at this point. And when you fall down, you're called downed, and you have 3 different attack abilities. If you manage to kill your opponent in that time, then you stand back up. Otherwise, if they run away from you, you have a 4th ability which allows you to channel health into yourself. I had no idea what I was doing because I was only level 5 and that's the first time that had happened to me. But now I know better. The game's quite a bit difficult compared to most of the other MMOs I've played. At level 5, you're usually pretty much immortal, whereas here I'm having to be careful with some of my pulls. And I wasn't really used to that. I kind of just ran through and grabbed up everything and started attacking. So some of the neat things I've seen about Guild Wars is that there's a lot of evasion dependent abilities. My second ability right now is going to cause me to dodge the next attack made against me, and that's a very short cooldown ability. I think it's about 8 seconds. And it just lets me avoid an entire attack. I've also got an ability where I can double tap in any direction, and that eats up my endurance. I can only do it about twice as Mesmer, but other classes I'm sure can do it a lot more than that. And that also allows me to dodge attacks. So that can be very strong as well. And then you also have a heal, which is 20, 30, or 40 seconds, depending on which one you take. And I'm using the 20-second one right now, so potentially, even as a caster here, even as Glass Cannon, I've got an ability to dodge attacks every 8 seconds. I can physically dodge 2 attacks every 20 seconds, let's say. And then I've got a heal every 20 seconds. A lot is really dependent on the player to try to keep their own health bar up and to avoid attacks. So healers aren't really the class. They aren't really a class in this game. I mean, there are classes that can heal the players around them, but it just doesn't seem that you really need to bring a healer to a group. It's not mandatory, certainly. The customization system is also quite unique. It looks as though it's one of those MMOs where you can almost build your class into anything you want it to be, from a healer, a support class, a DPS class, melee or ranged, or a tank. And I think I'm actually going to take this Mesmer into a tank role, where she's going to essentially spam illusions and have very high toughness. And if you actually manage to hurt her, then she has a lot of regeneration abilities. So should be interesting. Oh, and I've got a ton of teleports and invisibilities with the spec I'm planning. Should be great. So one of the things you might have noticed is that I'm actually dual wielding as a Mesmer. I'm using a scepter and a pistol right now. Later on I end up using a greatsword. I find that the greatsword, at least in the beta, is probably the best weapon by far. But scepter has some cool attacks. My main attack is a spam attack. It'll automatically cast until I cast anything else once I use it. And every 3rd ability spam with that, which is what you're looking at right now. I actually end up spawning different illusions of myself which appear identical, have their own health bars, but they don't do any damage. Later on through the customization system, I can actually cause them to deal damage as well, and that could be really powerful, I can see in the future. But for PvP, it's going to be interesting when I have 5 different copies of myself and it's hard to tell which is the real one. Of course, my second ability is the one I already mentioned, where I can dodge every 8 seconds. The 3rd ability there is an AoE daze effect every 25 seconds for 4 seconds. So I can really see this being a bit of a skill shot coming out of like League of Legends, where if I target it on the right player at the right time, I can probably hit multiple players with that, and I can see it being really strong. It also does pretty significant damage before the daze, so it doesn't break the daze, of course. So as Mesmer, one of my kind of customization, or one of my kind of unique ability systems is, of course, my illusions, but my illusions I can then consume, shattering them to use special abilities. So one is Mind Rack, which is essentially Mind Blast, since I can have 3 different illusions up at one time for my scepter. My Mind Blast will actually consume those illusions and then deal significantly more damage for everyone else. So it's basically empowered shadows, shadow orbs for shadow priests, which is going to be awesome. I've also got another ability, I forget what it does. It's like a massive defensive debuff in a large area. That could be really strong, I see, in a global PvP, like a Battleground. World versus World of this year. It's a big defense buff, AoE. So if I'm surrounded by people, bam. I haven't used it yet, though, because why not? Why not just Mind Blast someone in the face? And I got a 3rd ability, which it's think it's AoE Fear. Yeah, something like that. So that could be cool as well. So then, of course, fifth ability, button 6. It's really weird. You only get like 9 buttons in this game, which doesn't sound right. Button 6 is a heal. My current one is 20 seconds, and the more illusions I have active, the more it heals for. And that seems to be a pretty powerful heal right now, with the amount of illusions I already just have with the 3 or 4 that I have up right now. With later specs, I could see as many as 10 illusions up, and I imagine that's going to be a full heal every 20 seconds, which sounds a little overpowered. But I don't know how this game is balanced. Later on, I'm going to get abilities 7, 8, and 9. You can see them both the customization talent trees, which I might show in a later video, or you can just find them online at Guild Wars Tools. guildwars2tools.com. But some of them are very, very strong looking, and a lot of them are very familiar if you've already played other MMOs like World of Warcraft and stuff. I've got stun breaks and blink. My teleport is a stun break, so much like blink.
I'm feeling.
And then I've got, invisibility. I've got one really interesting one that I'm excited about. It's mass invisibility. Invisibles everyone on my team every 90 seconds for about 10 seconds. And I can just see that being very, very strong for World PvP. Where I can just stealth up an entire team up to a node and unstealth right in everyone's face.
Any idea who these hooligans
And then the other thing I'm excited about is I kind of have a demonic circle ability where I can actually set up 2 different teleport locations and teleport back and forth between them. And the best part is my teammates can do the same thing.
Then I have more work to do. I can't save you and leave the others to rot.
So this is kind of every storyline plot has this kind of story or movie going on. This foppish guy is kind of annoying. I made my character a noble and didn't realize that that was going to get me stuck with this guy for all my storyline quests, which I might have to change when the game goes live. Thanks for watching, guys.